I will call this special called meeting of the Tennessee Board of Regents to order this beautiful fall morning, Friday, October 20. And appreciate everybody making yourselves available this morning. I know schedules often have to be rearranged, and Chancellor and I are grateful. We welcome any others from our colleges or communities or the media who may be with us this morning, and we will make efficient use of your time. We have three purposes this morning. The first is to receive the Chancellor's recommendation for the next president at the TCAT Shelbyville, and two, with regard to approving search criteria at both Volunteer State Community College and a recent retirement announced at the TCAT Harriman. So with that, Secretary Perry, would you do us the honor of calling the roll, please?
I'd be glad to. Since this is an electronic meeting, there are two questions that need to be answered by regents for the record. First, can the regent simultaneously hear and speak with others participating in the meeting? And second, is the regent alone in the room? If the answer to both questions is yes, the regent can simply say yes to both. Anyone who is not alone should identify any other people present in the room with the regent. When I call your name, please answer these two questions. Governor Lee, Regent Apple.
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Burdine.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Garton.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Gentile. Regent George.
Here, yes to both questions.
Regent Gill. Commissioner Hatcher.
Here, yes to both.
Regent Hooper.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Kastner.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Pilkington.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Powers.
Here and yes to both.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Here and yes to both.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Roberts.
Here and yes to both.
Regent Spurgeon. Regent Barlin. And Regent White.
Here and yes to both.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Excellent. Another procedure to undertake, since we are meeting electronically, we of course were asked to meet today to consider the recommendation and the two sets of criteria. Because of the limited time between the selection of the candidate at Shelbyville and the start date for the position, as well as the need to initiate these searches, it simply wasn't physically possible for us to be present together in a room with a quorum. So given that this necessity to meet electronically is a non-controversial and routine item, I would propose we adopt this by unanimous consent. Of course, if anyone prefers to have a roll call vote on this, feel free to object and we will undertake a roll call vote. Is there any objection to affirming this necessity to meet electronically? Hearing none. The necessity is adopted by unanimous consent. Thank you all. With that, Chancellor, we are ready to receive your recommendation for the next president of our TCAT Shelbyville.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. It is truly my pleasure to bring before you today my recommendation for the next president of TCAT Shelbyville. On June 16, 2023, the board approved the search criteria for the next president. During its quarterly, Mary Lou Apple served as the chair of the search advisory committee. Regent Hooper and Regent Kastner also served as committee members, as well as representatives of the college's faculty, staff, students, and alumni. Their time and dedication to this search was invaluable, and a special thanks goes to each and every one of you for your commitment and support during this presidential search. I also want to thank Associate Vice Chancellor April Preston and Mariah Perry in our central office for doing such an incredible job coordinating the search for us. After careful review of the applicants, interviews, and input from the Search Advisory Committee, Madam Chair, I am pleased to recommend to you Mr. Jimmy Wright as the next president of TCAT Shelbyville. Mr. Wright currently serves as the Chief Student Affairs Officer at Big Sandy Community and Technical College in Kentucky. He has also served in a number of progressive roles at Big Sandy, including Dean of Student Affairs, Registrar, Associate Dean, Information Support Specialist for Distance Learning, and as a System Manager. Mr. Wright holds a master's degree in higher education from Morehead State University, a bachelor's degree in management from Sullivan University, and an associate's degree in computer science from Prestonsburg Community College. He is working toward a doctorate in educational leadership currently at Morehead State University. Madam Chair, this concludes my recommendation, and I ask for your approval.
Thank you very much. Excellent recommendation. Regent Apple, thanks for taking this one on. Any comments?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just some notes about our search. Mr. Jimmy Wright was one of 3 finalists chosen by the Presidential Search Advisory Committee from 22 applicants from around the country. The search committee held its first meeting on July 19th. Then on August the 7th, the committee met to consider and select candidates for round 1 interviews. 8 candidates were interviewed on August 24. As a result of the interviews, 3 candidates participated in campus interviews on September 27th. Madam Chair, it was my sincere pleasure to serve as chair of this search committee, and it was a great committee. And I want to say and join the Chancellor in a special thanks to Todd and Shane and April and Mariah. You make my job easy. And on a personal note, I want to share just a couple of comments that I shared with the Chancellor about Mr. Wright. Some of the comments I wrote down were humble, competent, experienced, a servant leader, a problem solver. And so it is my great pleasure to support Chancellor Tyding's recommendation and make a motion to hire Mr. Jimmy Wright as the next president of TCAT Shelbyville.
Thank you. Very well said, as always. We have a motion. Do we have a second? And I'm assuming maybe since he lives right there in Shelbyville, Regent Hooper might care to offer that second.
I am honored to carry that second, and I look forward to working with Mr. Wright.
Thank you, sir. Regent Kastner, any comments from your end?
In complete support. Very excited.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from regents or others? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to accept the Chancellor's recommendation of Mr. Jimmy Wright as the next president of the Shelbyville TCAT. Mariah, let's call the roll.
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Garten.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Hooper.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Pilkington.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. Jimmy Wright, a warm Tennessee welcome from the Board of Regents to our midst. We're delighted to have you on board. Is there anything you'd like to say this morning?
Good morning, Chair Reynolds. I would like to thank the Chancellor and the members of the committee for their hospitality and their warm welcome. It was my honor to go through this interview process. I am so looking forward to coming to Tennessee, learning the community, and continuing the great work of Shelbyville TCAT. I am honored to be your next president.
Thank you, sir. Very well said. And we are delighted to have you. And I know the community will embrace you and help you through that learning process. And you bring us such expertise, as the Chancellor and Regent Apple have said. So thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. Round of applause. And we will look forward to seeing you, hopefully, seeing you in person at our December meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, sir. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Chancellor, I'm coming back to you for the review and the consideration of search criteria at the TCAT Harriman now.
Yes, again, presenting search criteria to you has become a way of life lately. This morning, I would like to talk to you about President Dennis Turpin submitting her letter of retirement effective February 29th of 2024. We will recognize President Turpin and her service to TCAT Harriman in our system at a future board meeting. The search criteria for the next president of TCAT Harriman was provided in your materials prior to today's special call meeting. The criteria is the standard used for all TCAT president searches. The only difference is where it was modified with specific information regarding the college. Upon approval, the position will be posted and the recruitment process will begin. So, Madam Chair, I'm asking for approval of the position announcement for TCAT Harriman.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the Chancellor? Hearing none, we will need a motion to approve the criteria for this search at Harriman.
Motion.
I move for approval.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, since we are meeting electronically, approving this criteria will also require a roll call vote. Secretary Perry?
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Garten.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Hooper.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Pilkington.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Our third item of business today is to review and consider the search criteria for the president at Vol State. This is a hard one to do, I know, given the shocking passing of Dr. Orinthia Montague just last month. But we do need to move forward with this important piece of business and build on the tremendous legacy that she left at Vol State in just 2 short years. Chancellor, I will call on you to present the criteria, please.
Madam Vice Chair, and you are so correct. This is very bittersweet to have to do this today. To remind everyone, you know that we did lose Dr. Montague much too early, actually at our last board meeting. I did ask Dr. Deaton to serve as our interim president, and he is doing so tremendously. He has jumped right in and this to heal and to move forward. But that next step is for us to approve today the criteria for our next president of Volunteer State Community College. A copy of this was provided in your materials today. The criteria is, again, standard used for all community college president searches. The only difference, again, being the modification for specific information regarding Volunteer State. Upon approval, the position will be posted and the recruitment process will begin. So, Madam Vice Chair, I ask for the board's approval of this criteria.
Thank you, Chancellor. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, once again, we'll need a motion for approval.
I'll move.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Second.
Tom.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Hearing none, Mariah, a roll call vote, please, to approve the search criteria for the next president of Volunteer State.
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Garten.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Hooper.
Aye.
Regent Kastner. Regent Kastner, you might be muted, sir.
Sorry, I was muted. Aye.
Thank you. Regent Pilkington.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Chancellor, that concludes our business. Do you have any further comments or announcements for the board today?
other than to just again thank each of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us today, we do have an email that will be coming out to all of you tomorrow regarding a previous incident that we had occurred at Chattanooga State. So I just want everybody to be mindful to please be on the lookout for that email that you will receive either late this afternoon or tomorrow regarding that situation. And thank you so much for your time, and congratulations to Mr. Jimmy Wright. We are so anxious to get you on board and have you be a part of our TBR family.
Indeed. Thank you all once again. Welcome to Jimmy. And we will all reconvene virtually, of course, at our committee chairs meeting this coming month, which is not too far away now, Wednesday, November 8th. Thank you so much. Enjoy this pretty day, and we will see you soon. If there are no objections, we stand adjourned.